Just footsack your mouth and listen. It's No Through Show, guys.
Oh, we have you surrounded. Throw down your weapons. You must surrender. Anyway, that is what we're going to be talking about to start off with right here on the No Through Show podcast with Greg and Bruno once again from the P3 studios right here in Bulla 5, Moffat Avenue. Would you believe it? So that was just basically, Bruno, a little bit of how Vladimir Putin wakes up in the morning and when his butlers come in to his bedroom where he shoos away his latest high-class prostitute, which he's just given a Fabergé egg to for the night.
Is that what they call his flippin' man items? Fabergé eggs.
He then speaks in Russian to her and says, you must surrender. So anyway, let's talk about the Putin, okay? The Putin, I believe you've got some information, which is international information. Let me tell you what, he's released some information that he has discovered the vaccine for, no, not world hunger, or no, not how to cure a vodka hangover.
They don't get vodka hangovers there. Certainly not Putin, man.
Putin urinates pure vodka.
It's like perpetual motion.
And then re-drinks.
Yeah, straight up. That's the best vodka you'll get, man.
All right, so COVID-19, which I suppose should be called COVID-20 sometime soon. The Russians, or Putin himself maybe, in his boudoir has discovered the vaccine.
You might as well call it Putin 19. Got that item waxed now.
So what have you heard about this vaccine that has come from Russia? Are they just saying it, or is it like legitimate? Because it was a lot like the race for. Let's just talk about
moon landing.
The moon landing, and let's just get into the moon landing.
Wait, before we go to the moon landing, this guy, and I've seen it pop up on very many credible sites, man. So it would be a big risk to take as a credible news site to say something like that, and then it's not true. And the news obviously being that he's found a vaccine and he's tried it out on his daughter. That's hectic.
So it's difficult to, what you're saying, it's difficult to fake this one up in a studio, like the moon landing.
I mean, yeah, it's a little bit of a weird one, eh? Something which looks like kind of a kidnap movie mixed with a ransom movie. I don't know. But whoever does find the vaccine is going to be stinking rich.
More Fabergé eggs and more loose women
there'll be
for
eggs
Putin
flying out.
So, I mean, that's pretty interesting news that Russia has beaten America, has beaten China, has beaten Japan. I was expecting an Asian country to come up with a cure, to be honest. I mean,
because they made it in the first place. So you'd think you'd make it with the fail-safe. You don't hey, we've made a car, goes 150,000 kilometers an hour, but we haven't made the brakes yet. Let's put it on the road. You know what I'm saying?
The Datsun the 120Y made a car just like that.
Also made it to 120,000 meters a second.
All right, guys. So, I mean, that's our COVID news. I want to just touch quickly on our sports talk section. Sports talk section today is we've got two sections of sport talk. One is sports diet. Don't turn off your computers because this is our sports diet. John Daly, would you believe it, the golfer, little rotund, podgy little number, reckons he's lost 60 pounds with his new diet
of
whiskey and popcorn in a blender, mixed together.
In a blender? Come on, man. What's wrong with this man?
That is like whiskey scud.
I was imagining the he's watching TV, having a couple of whiskeys, bowl of popcorn. Come on, in a blender.
I'm sorry, I made the blender part up. But, I mean, your stomach
Damn it.
is a blender
God's
for whiskey
sakes.
and popcorn.
Yeah, that is. I
Yeah.
suppose you're right.
The other thing I want to talk about of the sport is Apiwe Dianti, who's the Springbok winger, the disgraced Springbok winner, winger, also a winner, because he tested positive for some steroids. Or, when we think of steroids, Bruno, we think of like, just one type of steroid. And you're like, when you juice it up like Ben Johnson right into the butt, or Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love humping and pumping, And you remember what Arnold said? He says, "When I'm home, I'm humping, and when I'm at the gym, I'm pumping. Every day, I'm coming. Every day and night, I'm humping and pumping."
Jeez, okay. So what's the point with the steroids?
So what I'm saying is like all these, you might as well have Milo, and there's some sort of banned substance in the Milo, But what I'm saying is, and it's something that me and you discussed over hot coals and raw meat before, is that we should stop disgracing athletes for taking steroids. We should put them into their own category, and we should have the steroid Rugby World Cup or the steroid Olympics.
The steroid every sport on earth.
So, I mean, because is bodybuilding not a sport? Yes, it is, but they're allowed to use steroids. So, I mean, it just means that when we have the Steroid Olympics, the stadia will have to be at least 50 meters.
I don't think we should stigmatize steroids. We should call it the Super Olympics.
Yeah.
We should have something which is so much better than the Olympics.
Literally,
Who would actually watch Olympics? Let's be honest.
if there was
If
an
there was the
Olympics
Super Olympics,
that was 35 to 50% better than the normal Olympics.
it would be at least 150% better. Come on. Let's face it, by the end, you're going to get Owens running one race. 100-meter race.
The human race.
That's it. They only do one race, and it's probably going to kill them. And if it doesn't, they must retire. But it'll be the race everyone comes to watch.
The javelin becomes a problem because you'll be walking there with your children in the car park, and you will be speared to death by a javelin.
We'll put them on the front line in Syria.
But,
Javelins instead of bullets.
all right, so you won a gold medal. You are now
Enrolled in the army.
So the other thing would be quite interesting would be the combat sports, the steroid combat sports. So we're talking about boxing here. Would it just be a fight to the death, basically? The referee has to be on steroids as well.
Well,
he's trying to stop
everyone's
the fight.
on. This is not a referee kind of sport, dude. This is a kind of sport where there's a cage which protects those outside of it from these murderous owns inside. And then you let one man leave. That's the problem.
The spectators need to be on steroids even.
They will be, but they are on karma steroids. The betting kind.
So, I mean, guys, we got to, while we're talking about this amazing subject, this is the No Through Show. Like the link in the bio or whatever. Share it if you don't like it. If you do, share it as well. But there has been actual discussions about steroid Olympics or steroid games, or if you want to call them super games.
Let's make it a mixed match between Hunger Games, that kind of story.
Yeah,
but
not with
Olympics
murderers. From maximum security prison.
Not pull it down and
Arnold Schwarzenegger
That'll
will
be
win
our
again.
guy.
Oh, man.
So, listen, good idea on that one. I still think it's coming. Running Man is not a sci-fi movie. It's on the fence now. It's about 50-50 between sci-fi and reality, isn't it?
Oh, that is true. I think it would do great. The networks would pick it up, and
Arnie would host on his last year of life. 109.
How exactly? We got to talk about this. What is it with those old buddies? There's Arnold Schwarzenegger, Keith Richards.
Keith Richards could be his grandfather, man.
I mean,
no, actually not. Arnie's 73.
Keith Richards is 173, man, and Mick Jagger still prancing around the stage. having sex with younger people than his own youngest daughter.
Granddaughter. Yes. I mean, owns are like, how old is Keith Richards?
I just feel that if you did skin Keith Richards, you could stretch his face alone over a tennis court. Mm-hmm. Just the skin from the face.
Kind of like Jabba the Hutt kind of skin, you just stretch it out. So when you're flying over Bulawayo, or wherever you would be, I don't know why Bulawayo, you would see his face stretched over a damn tennis court. Come on. Probably could do that.
All right. Let's just take this in another. Let's just take this in another direction. George Floyd, congratulations, 60 days sober. They did do the autopsy. It's been fully revealed. George Floyd. If you've obviously seen that name on the news and the face. Mm-hmm. They did the full autopsy, and it's been released.
How many versions of autopsy do you have, man?
Plenty.
Octopussy.
So they found that in his bloodstream there was.
What wasn't there?
There was
red blood cells.
There was fentanyl.
Okay.
There was crystal meth, and there was ganja. At the time of arrest.
Were those how long does crystal meth and stuff stay in your system?
Doesn't matter, man. If you see the video, which is the body cam video, which is also being released.
I still haven't seen that. I got to watch that now.
You will know that he was shouting. And listen, we're not taking any sides here, but he was shouting, "I can't breathe," while he was still standing up.
Of note, because
but he was full of fentanyl,
No,
meth,
I know, but
and
I
ganja.
mean, some people can handle things like that. You know what I'm saying? But other people can't. But I just saw some clip randomly saying that they had never seen they've seen high people before, but they haven't seen Owens high like that before.
Okay, so
was it like that?
Yeah,
because we've seen some high people before as well.
It was very strange, man. I'm not gonna lie. He was very twitchy on the steering wheel, and he was like, "Please," he was shouting, "Please don't
driving
shoot me.
is quite a
Please don't shoot
story.
me." But the guys
no
are like,
one mentioned about the driving offense.
By the way, no one has mentioned the driving offense under the influence. But I mean, the police officer saying, "We're not going to shoot you, dude." And he's like, "Don't shoot me!" And he was like going off like they had guns on him. But
paranoid.
Heavily paranoid. That's the crystal meth and the fentanyl.
Even the boy could have been the last one to scheme. Guy.
All right, I want to talk about. There was a woman in 1974 called Maria Abramovich. She was some sort of exhibition artist. Now, tell me what you think about this, Bruno. Exhibition artist, and it kind of blows my mind what this woman did. And I saw some of the pictures. It was pretty horrific how she ended up. She did a exhibition art thing. She said, "Rado, nothing is gonna, no matter what, I will not move for 6 hours. I'm going to stand here. I ain't going to move." She invited guests or customers or whatever. And she had a table next to her of 72 items that you could do on her. Objects that you could, and I'll explain, from flowers to a knife to a loaded gun. And she stood there, and people would come in and do things to her with these 72 objects, or their own hands, basically, and she would not move for 6 hours. It was like a social experiment / artist story.
With a gun.
Loaded gun. So what happened is, this was the experiment. She reckons it started off very friendly, and people fluffing her with the flowers and this and that.
This is our testing, isn't it?
And then it turned very violent. And people stripped her of a kit. One owner held a gun to her head, the loaded gun.
Starting to sound like a familiar story in the news in the last couple of months.
Held a loaded gun to her head. Some of them were spitting on her and abusing her, and then after the 6 hours, she
sounds hectic, actually, man.
She began to move and walk towards them, and all the people ran away because. And the experiment was like,
that's freaky as shit, man.
Are
you joking? You're allowing people to do everything, exposing the human condition and nature which is just going to start off nice. But as soon as they see, we can take even the weakest of people that can take advantage of
Yeah.
a weaker person
that's
will
when
do it. And then you do it. I'm surprised you didn't get, shot or, raped. You know what I'm saying? And then when you
She
allow
was
that, and
nude
then,
by
but
the
you're
end of
taking
it.
it, all of a sudden you just start moving in such a creepy ass way. That's pretty, I would be freaked out.
You know,
man.
I'm sure they cut her clothes off because there were
Yeah.
scissors there. And I mean, holding a loaded gun to someone's head is pretty, pretty powerful at the end of the day. But what the experiment was saying is that how people begin to take advantage of a situation because they know that there's going to be no recourse for the action, immediate recourse.
Was anyone arrested
And
or
then,
anything?
No, not at all. And then when she started moving, they all got afraid and ran away because all of a sudden, like you're saying, the weak, there was now a response, and there could have been a reaction, which changed their mental outlook on everything immediately, which I think is very much a societal, especially now with the keyboard warriors. This is what we're talking about. In fact, this was done in 1974, and we're talking about people now that jump on the keyboards and try and say this and that and the other, and get into it with people, but let them come face to face, and sparks shall fly.
That's experiment. I can tell you who sponsored that. The CIA. Because they've got every urn profiled right there in the 6-hour and larger vicinity of wherever this happened, saying, this is the kind of urn which is going to cut the chick's clothes off. This is the kind of urn that's going to pick up the gun. This is the urn, and they've got his facial recognition going on. Everyone's done.
And
The
all
end.
of that CIA information ended up in a teenage Putin's lap.
That's right.
All right, guys, let's take that break.
Nice one.